A trade in human lives, Kenya's dark secret. Kenya, known for its vibrant culture and stunning landscapes, harbors a dark secret. It has become a key player in the illicit global kidney trade, preying on the vulnerable. Young Kenyans, lured by promises of a better life, fall victim to this cruel trade. Their dreams turn into nightmares as they are exploited for their organs. This is a story of human greed and the fight for justice. This illegal trade thrives in the shadows, fueled by desperation. The allure of quick money intersects with the desperation of those needing organs. Human life is reduced to a mere transaction. The Kenyan government, aware of the problem, has been slow to react. This allows perpetrators to operate with impunity. Families of victims are left to grieve in silence. This story needs to be told, demanding attention. The world needs to know about these young Kenyans, seen as spare parts. It's time to expose the perpetrators and demand justice for the victims. The primary targets of this illicit trade are young Kenyan migrants, often from impoverished backgrounds. Desperate for economic opportunities, they are lured by the promise of well-paying jobs in the Middle East and other parts of the world. Recruitment agencies, often operating illegally, paint a rosy picture of life abroad, masking the harsh realities that await these unsuspecting individuals. Driven by the need to support their families back home, these young Kenyans often take on significant debt to finance their travel and visa costs. This makes them even more vulnerable to exploitation, as they become trapped in a cycle of debt and dependence on their employers. The lack of education and awareness about the dangers of organ trafficking further exacerbates their vulnerability. Many are unaware of their rights, the risks involved, or the legal recourse available to them should they become victims. They are easy prey for traffickers who exploit their desperation and naivety. This exploitation of the most vulnerable members of society is a stain on humanity. The promise of a better life is twisted into a nightmare of exploitation and abuse. The dream of supporting their families becomes a burden of debt and trauma. The process of coercing individuals into selling their organs is often shrouded in deception and manipulation. Traffickers, posing as recruitment agents or even well-meaning friends, lure victims with promises of lucrative employment opportunities abroad. They often target individuals who are already in debt or facing financial hardship, exploiting their desperation. Once abroad, these victims find themselves trapped in exploitative working conditions, their passports confiscated, and their movements restricted. They are often subjected to physical and psychological abuse, denied basic rights, and threatened with deportation if they resist. In some cases, victims are tricked into undergoing medical examinations under false pretenses. They are told that these tests are routine or necessary for their employment, only to discover later that they have been subjected to organ harvesting without their informed consent. The manipulation is often subtle, preying on the victim's trust and lack of awareness. They are fed lies about the ease and safety of the procedure, reassured that it will not have any long-term health implications. The reality, however, is far more sinister. The kafala system, a system of sponsorship prevalent in many Middle Eastern countries, plays a significant role in facilitating the exploitation of migrant workers, including organ trafficking. This system ties a migrant worker's legal residency and employment to their sponsor, typically their employer. This creates a significant power imbalance, leaving workers at the mercy of their sponsors. They are often unable to change jobs, leave the country, or even access essential services without their sponsor's permission. This system creates fertile ground for exploitation, as sponsors can easily exert control over their workers, restricting their movements, withholding their wages, and even subjecting them to physical and sexual abuse. In the context of organ trafficking, the kafala system provides a framework where traffickers can operate with impunity. The lack of oversight and accountability within the kafala system allows traffickers to exploit their victims with little fear of legal repercussions. This system, designed to regulate migrant labor, has become a tool of oppression, trapping vulnerable individuals in a web of exploitation. Section 5. Silent screams, suspicious deaths, and missing organs. Adding to the horror of this trade are the numerous cases of suspicious deaths of Kenyan migrants working abroad. Families already grappling with the pain of losing a loved one are often met with silence and obfuscation when they seek answers. Bodies are returned, sometimes years after death, bearing telltale signs of organ harvesting, surgical scars, missing organs, and inconsistent medical records. The lack of transparency from authorities in both Kenya and the destination countries raises serious concerns about a potential cover-up. Autopsies, if conducted at all, are often inadequate, failing to properly investigate the cause of death or the possibility of foul play. Families are left to grapple with the horrifying possibility that their loved ones were not only exploited in life, but also commodified in death. They are denied closure, haunted by unanswered questions and the suspicion that justice will never be served. This lack of accountability only emboldens the perpetrators, allowing them to continue their gruesome trade with impunity. It highlights the urgent need for international cooperation and a commitment to holding those responsible accountable for their crimes. Section 6. Case Studies, Stolen Lives, Shattered Families. The human cost of this trade is best illustrated through the stories of its victims. Take, for instance, the tragic case of Beatrice Waruguru Mwangi, a 19-year-old who went to Saudi Arabia in search of a better future. Her dreams were cut short when she died under mysterious circumstances. Her body was returned to Kenya, mutilated, missing organs, and bearing signs of torture. Then there's the story of Pauline Muthoni, who returned to Kenya from Saudi Arabia severely ill. She later died, and it was discovered that one of her kidneys was missing. Her medical records from Saudi Arabia showed no record of any kidney removal surgery, raising suspicions of foul play. These are not isolated incidents. Countless families have shared similar stories of their loved ones returning home in coffins, their bodies bearing the marks of a sinister trade. Each story is a testament to the brutality of this trade and the urgent need for action. These cases highlight the urgent need for greater scrutiny of recruitment agencies, improved protection for migrant workers, and thorough investigations into suspicious deaths. The world must not turn a blind eye to these atrocities. Section 7. A global network of exploitation, from Kenya to the world. The illicit kidney trade is not confined to Kenya. It operates as a sophisticated global network, connecting vulnerable donors in developing countries with wealthy recipients in developed nations. This network is facilitated by a complex web of actors including organ brokers, medical professionals, corrupt officials, and even organized crime syndicates. The demand for organs far outstrips the legal supply, creating a lucrative black market where a kidney can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. This high demand, coupled with lax regulations and weak enforcement in many parts of the world, allows this trade to flourish. The anonymity offered by this global network allows perpetrators to operate with impunity. Traffickers can easily move victims across borders, obscuring their tracks and making it difficult for authorities to track them down. This highlights the need for a coordinated global response to combat this trade. International cooperation is essential to dismantle the networks, disrupt the flow of money, and bring the perpetrators to justice. Section 8. The Fight for Justice, Obstacles and Hope. The fight to end the organ trade and secure justice for its victims is an uphill battle. Obstacles abound, from a lack of political will and resources to the complicity of powerful individuals and institutions. Families of victims often face an uphill battle in their quest for justice. They encounter bureaucratic hurdles, uncooperative officials, and a lack of support from authorities. Many are forced to abandon their pursuit of justice due to financial constraints or fear of reprisals. Despite these challenges, there is hope. Grassroots organizations and activists are working tirelessly to raise awareness about the issue, support victims, and push for stronger legislation and enforcement. They are giving a voice to the voiceless, demanding accountability and justice for those who have been exploited. International organizations are also stepping up their efforts, working with governments to strengthen legal frameworks, improve data collection, and enhance cross-border cooperation. While the road ahead is long and arduous, these efforts offer a glimmer of hope that change is possible. Section 9. A Call to Action, Ending the Organ Trade's Grip. The illicit kidney trade is a stain on our collective conscience. It is a stark reminder of the inequalities and injustices that persist in our world. Ending this trade requires a multi-pronged approach, addressing both supply and demand. Governments must strengthen legislation and ensure perpetrators face the full force of the law. This includes holding accountable complicit individuals, including medical professionals and corrupt officials. Public awareness campaigns are crucial to educate potential victims and empower them to resist exploitation. This includes providing information about safe migration practices and workers' rights. International cooperation is essential to dismantle global networks that facilitate this trade. This includes sharing intelligence and harmonizing legal frameworks to close loopholes. Finally, we must address the root causes, including poverty and lack of access to healthcare. By creating a more just world, we can eliminate the desperation that makes people vulnerable to exploitation. The fight against organ trafficking is a fight for human rights and justice.